Hi, I'm Donna Williamson-Source, and today we're here with Chef Shane Kelly, who's going to teach us how to make some summer healthy food. What are we having today?
We are having summer squash and zucchini salad, and this is the time for it because when you go to the Franklin Farmers Market, you're going to see tons of squash, zucchini, bell peppers, tomatoes. So this is what, when my husband was a kid, all the leftovers were called must-go. So this is what we would call a must-go salad. So if I get to the end of the week before I go back to the market to pick up my community-supported agriculture from Beaver Dam Creek Farm, which is where all these goodies came from, then I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I need to fix and get rid of in this fridge before I go back to the market and fill up again? And you know what, you can do this with any vegetables any time of year. It's always great, there's my garbage can over there. It's always great to have a bit of a raw salad with some raw food to eat with nearly every meal. Now I'm using just a simple little mandolin that you
These could be dangerous though.
Well, they can be. So just know that no bit of finger is worth any amount of food. So when you start to get close, that's where I either just set it to the side and eat it for later, or there's a little contraption that you can lay over the top, but I think it's just, too laborious. So anyway, but you see how simple this is, and you can find these little mandolins instead of buying the big fancy stainless.
I like the size of this one. Where do you find that?
You know what? I got it at K&S Asian Market. So we're going to go ahead. So we cut the zucchini in half, nice thin slices, because we're going to put a little lemon juice, olive oil, marinade on this. And
what is the best way to tell if the squash and zucchini is actually ripe and ready to eat? I find those are more difficult to be able to tell.
Do you? Well, I think just got to have some good firmness to it. The minute it starts to feel a little squishy, not a good idea. And this I've had in my fridge for most of the week, so it's been banging around in there with other stuff, but these are all just benign little marks. But you just want to make sure there's no major bruising or anything like that, but just good and firm. And then again, we're just going to cut this right down the middle and just run it through. So now the other good news about this, let me just say this. If you had a food processor, I don't mind the mandolin, but the food processor, you would have this done in like 2 minutes.
You could put all three things in the food processor.
Yes, I did it.
And just do a slice.
Exactly. So do the little slice element. So you want to make sure when you're using bell peppers, I always like to just cut out the white membrane because that can be a little bitter sometimes. And since we're doing a raw salad. So anyway, the raw salads are great, particularly in really warm weather because we're all dehydrated anyway and people are forgetting to drink water. This is just another way to get some good fluids in you. And this is a good firm bell pepper. So, again, when you're looking for bell peppers, it's that firmness and you can smell it. So we've got our sliced bell pepper, and then I took 1 large tomato and cut that into chunks.
Does it matter which kind of tomato? Heirloom?
No, just again, it needs to be a firm one. A lot of them they're just delicious as all get out, but they're squishy. And so you want one of the just kind of regular old tomatoes that are real firm. I wish I could remember the name of this one, but I can't. And then this sweet onion, actually, of course it's, well, not of course, because we have sweet onions that come out of Washington State, but this one is from the South. I don't know if it's a Vidalia, but it is a sweet onion. So it could be from South Carolina or some other parts unknown. Then we put some fresh herbs in here because right now you can find fresh basil and flat leaf parsley. If you wanted to put some cilantro in here, it's really whatever mix you like. It's a ½ cup. After you've chopped them, of fresh basil and flat leaf parsley. Scallions are, of course, great in here. Chives, that sort of thing. So then
smells amazing.
Doesn't that smell great?
Oh, I love the smell of herbs.
And what's so great about this, most people think they'll take squash or zucchini and they're cooking it to death and they're making stews and putting it in soups. But it's really, when you slice it this thin and you put your acid on here, which I have juice of 1 whole lemon, so that's going to start to break it down. And then we've got a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. which is everybody knows by now, that is what you want to buy. And then we have a half teaspoon of unrefined sea salt with all of its minerals intact, which I love. It's really hard. I understand it's really hard for people to get enough vegetables into their diet. So this, I always talk to folks about, well, you just need to start mass producing. You know, you get in your kitchen a couple of times a week and you just start knocking it out. And then you've got stuff prepped and in the fridge. I don't know if you'll be able to do that with your hand on.
I can do it.
All right. I'm sure you've done it before. All right.
Let's see if I can get a.
Can you get the whole bite?
Well, I'm gonna have to do a little one, then afterwards I'll do big one.
Little more salt, I would do. And you always want to taste your food before you serve it. That's critical. Because nobody needs, you know, people say to me, my kids just don't like broccoli or they just don't like vegetables. I'm like, well, how do you serve it? Steamed. Well, that's so nasty and mean. So you need to put butter on that and salt and pepper and make it taste good. Food should be tasting good, don't you think?
Yes, I think we've gotten into this old habit of like no fat, no seasoning, and so we're really kind of doing ourselves a disservice.
Oh, totally, and if people knew what they were doing to their bodies health-wise by not eating healthy fats and enough salt to, you know, make all those electrical impulses happen, it's all good stuff.
Yes. Thank you so much. This looks amazing. We'll
Good.
have this recipe up. It's so easy. I mean, look, it took you 10 minutes.
Or it would be less if I use the food processor or whatever. Literally, this is just the easiest kind of thing put together and tasty.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shane.
Thank you, Donna.